Hi. Do we get to see anybody's faces? Huh.
I should have put my glasses on. Oh my goodness.
I know. I was like, yeah. If I'm reading this and if they're going to have to be on. For sure.
All right, we just got a few more people joining, so I'm just going to hang on for about 2 more minutes and we will get going. Here's Ethan. So Gary, since we have about a minute before we get started, your picture behind you, is it supposed to look like Abe Lincoln? Or am I just seeing things?
Actually, no, it is. If I blurred it, you would really see the Abe Lincoln, but it's already pixelated. So you see kind of, yeah, it's Abe Lincoln and then it's some guy on a cross. It's a Salvador Dali.
I was seeing it, because right now it's kind of far away and small, and so I see Abe. But then when we were on a one-on-one the other week, it was much larger and closer up, and I was like, oh, maybe it's something else. I can't tell. So okay, thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, it's a Salvador Dali. I'm not sure what the title of it is, but he's pretty out there.
All right, just a couple more seconds. Any stragglers, I will admit, and we will get going today. All right, awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. We're going to get started how we always do with our check-ins on our accountability check-ins on our lead gen and our daily 10-4s. Felicia, can you get us started today?
Sure. Well, I had a productive weekend. I visited 10 open houses, and that was a lot of fun. It was more fun yesterday. I brought my sister along. Wasn't as fun by myself, but and I think I have 30 contacts in my database. I'm still ramping up on the 10 calls a day, but I did reach out to an old friend, and we had coffee Saturday morning. So I'm just trying to reconnect with people. I don't know a lot of people here in Eugene. I grew up here, but lived in Portland for the past 30 years. So it's been a little challenging to reconnect with people, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Sounds like you're off to a good start. I love it.
Thank you.
Roseanne, how about you? Or Rosie, excuse me.
I did a little questionnaire on my Facebook, announced that I was a realtor. I've been doing lots of contact through there. And I have a really strong lead of someone who wants to sell their house, but isn't quite ready yet, and wants to buy a house in the area. So, and they don't have an agent. So it's a really strong lead of someone I used to work with. So I'm excited about that. I got my thank you cards or my little, hey, thanks for talking with me card ready to go. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Thanks, Rosie. Gary.
Making contacts, filling up some of my database. I'd like to be doing a lot more, but finding the time is hard. Open houses, I mapped a few, but I didn't get to go on them this weekend. Next weekend, hopefully I'll get to go on the ones that I mapped out. So.
Thanks for sharing, Gary. Jen, how about you?
Sorry.
Oh, you're great.
I entered, I think about 20 or 25 people into the database last night.
Great.
Trying to get emails off of LinkedIn and Facebook and Yahoo to try to get everyone in that way first. Went to an open house with another new agent from a different company just to see what she's been told to do for open houses.
In the Salem area, or did you go up to Portland?
This time Salem.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah, that agent said she was told to lock the door every time between people, but I don't know if I want to do that. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. And that's about it, really.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Jackie, how about you?
So I actually didn't get a whole lot done. I'm recovering. I wasn't feeling very well. So I just, last couple of days, I was reading my book. Uh,
Awesome. Fantastic.
Till I get my voice back. I had a couple open houses, but I didn't go because I wasn't up for it. So
Thank you, Jackie. Maddie, how about you?
I went to 2 open houses on Friday. And then my postcards came in for my little Veneta farm. So I plan to send those out today. Most of the weekend was spent writing out all the addresses. And yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Jeannie.
I ran a Facebook ad for lead gen to promote a listing that I have.
Awesome.
And so I've got some leads and I am following through on those.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. Hey, Melissa, good to see you. How'd your lead gen go today?
It went really well. And I think this is the second time I've done this class, but that's okay. So, because Dana's like, I want you to go through them. So she's the master. So that's what I do. So one of the things that I've been doing, I created a farm in the kind of near where I live, but it was where I wanted my farm to be anyways. And so I've been door knocking and doing door hangers. And so usually I get up, I leave, I do that for about an hour and then just continue on into the office. It's kind of a long game, but literally this morning, this little gal was outside weeding and I said, oh, do you like your yard work? I hate every minute of it. I want to move. And when I saw you walking, I was praying you were a real estate agent. Yeah. So that's a God thing. And it is, I've been doing it for about 3 weeks. And so, I've lived in West Salem since 2006. And so I wanted my farm to be there. In a couple of different neighborhoods. One of them is very specific because they're all like these 1-story ranchers. And for those folks that are in their 60s and 70s and have 2-story home, they don't want stairs. They just can't do it. My parents are almost to that point. And so that's why I really specifically picked that neighborhood. Plus it's really nice because it's by my sister. So I can run in and use the bathroom if I want to. So sweet couple. They showed me their basement. They didn't show me upstairs, but that's okay. So here comes Dana with our lunch. I will continue to do that. And the flyer that I hand out tells a little bit about me and our team. And then it gives the statistics from last month for West Salem specifically. It's just data, So then next month when I make it, it'll show June's and then July's so they can kind of follow, But then also one of the things that I did, because I am on a team, and I don't know how many other people on the call are on a team, was that I had to get 150 contacts with name, address, email, phone number, and date of birthday. And I got to 150 on Friday.
Awesome. Cool.
And that is long. Like my cousins, I'm like, can you message me back? Can you help a girl out? So I hit that. So that was super exciting. So that second part has to be uploaded into our CRM. But it's just plugging away and all those little pieces of the puzzle, never giving up on them.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks.
Johnny, how are things going with you?
Hey, things are going good. So it's been a very busy weekend. Saturday, I did an open house for a listing agent with Coldwell Banker. And bad planning on my part. I planned it while we were having a 50s week here in Grants Pass. So I had one couple come in. But that's okay. They loved the home. So and they were already represented by someone, but hopefully they put in an offer for that other agent. And then Sunday did another open house in Medford, and it was actually great. Had a bunch of people come in. Got a couple potential buyers. They're very they're just figuring things out right now, so that's okay. And then today I met with a couple ladies from Road Credit Union, and got some more information on what they need from their potential clients. So now I'm a little bit more educated when it comes to that. So pretty busy.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Johnny. I could tell you were busy because Facebook wants to send me everything that you're doing right now. And I could tell that you were having a busy weekend in real estate. I just want to applaud you for your social media presence. It's great.
I'm sorry, I know it was overload, but
No, not
it is what it is.
If I was in your sphere, I'd be like, look at Johnny go. Wow. So yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
Ethan, are you available to unmute today?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, I had a really good weekend. I was able to reach out to some friend groups and actually talk to them in person and let them know that I'm in the real estate business and I'm happy to help them with whatever they want, and just setting up the social media pages and also just getting involved with all those organizations that I need to get on. So yeah, a lot of
Awesome.
progress.
Thank you. Jacob, how about you? If available.
Yeah, I'm available.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've just been, continuing to add contacts to my CRM, just checking up on some old leads that I had from, like when I was telling people that I was going to school and everything.
Yeah.
A lot of them are still just kind of not ready, so I'm just waiting for them to let me know when they are, but I'll be there when they are ready. On Saturday, I did go to like 6 different open houses. I met some agents and I emailed them and networked with a few different ones that I connected with. So we're gonna like go get coffee or go do a happy hour. So I've got a few different connections there. I'm working on getting the business card, and then also while I was out eating at a local restaurant, they had a little application for local businesses that want to have their businesses basically advertised onto their tables. So I filled out an application for that to hopefully have my business advertised onto one of their tables. And then I also went to a party and I met 2 potential buyer leads as well.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah,
Very
thank
cool. Thanks, Jacob. Michael, how are things going with you?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, not going too. So I've been actually adding people to my contact list. Had a pretty busy weekend. I actually hosted an open house for a charity, so that was kind of nice. Yeah, we're kind of slow. They only had 2 people come through that property, and then I had another open house in the Mountain Gate area, which was also somewhat. So I'm assuming people were just out enjoying the sun. So yeah, so updated 10 people to my contact list, made 10 connections, one of which today I have an appointment to follow up with on Wednesday and get to know them more. And then I have an appointment with a local lender I'm going to meet with on Thursday. So that's pretty much what's in my pipeline right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's such an interesting time in Eugene this last week and a half or so with the heat. So everybody's had the, probably wanting to get in the water, get cool, all these different things. But then with the Worlds and with the fair, I mean, we've been spoiled for things going on in our town. I mean, I can't remember a week like this around here since I've been here since 2004. It's been very exciting.
For sure.
Oriana, how are you doing?
Doing good. I got another 12 note cards filled out this morning, which was kind of amazing since I had to repack my husband to head out to San Diego. He had just gotten back last night from North Dakota. So he's on a plane right now. So I was busy after he left.
Thank you, Oriana. And Haley. Great, great. All right, thank you, Haley. Hey, 15 minutes, perfect, guys. That was exactly right on time. So today for our Ignite class, Build Your Business, we have from our Eugene Springfield office, Charity Crosby. Charity has been in the business since 1997. Charity's goal is for each client to have a real estate experience which surpasses their expectations. Charity is known for her outstanding service, devotion to real estate, and the care and concern she gives to each and every client. She currently works with buyers and sellers, assisting them with all of their real estate goals. And I'm really excited to have Charity here. Everybody usually absolutely loves this class. It's one of the favorites in our series. And thank you for being here, Charity. I'll hand things over to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. Okay, so this is my most favorite class to teach ever. This is my 25th year, so I'm going on a little bit over 25 years. I've been on large teams, I've had large teams, and for the last 6 years, it has just been me. No assistant, no anything. So the things I'm telling you, you can easily do on your own. Okay, so, and two, before I start, this is when you take a class with me, it's always interactive. So I'm going to be calling on you. I'm going to ask you to nod or no or raise your hand. So video's fabulous and having your mics on are fabulous. Okay. If I say something, because does everybody have this? See, I'd have everybody raise their hand. Do we have this? Okay. Okay, we got it. Because this is what we're going to be going through. I'm going to be very upfront. I don't stay on topic. I mean, it's all about database, by the way. But I don't, I may be going around and around, but we will get through everything, I promise. So, before I forget, because I took a couple notes when you guys were saying some things, and I was like, okay. Jen, who did open houses and wondering if they should lock the door. By the way, and if you want to know a fabulous way to do open houses, you guys, I mean, a fabulous way to do open houses. So Chris Suarez started in this business. Actually, him and I were at Remax together back in the day. He really went gung-ho with open houses, and you can go on KW and Google, I mean, you can even go to YouTube and, Google Chris Suarez open houses, and you're going to see these videos come up. They are fabulous. Go watch them. A couple things he talks about, we're talking about can somebody tell me what class number 1 was? I'm on session 2. What was number 1?
Ignite your business.
And what'd they go over? Can you I want to make sure I'm not. Okay. Well, what did you guys talk about?
Finding your big why.
Okay.
Going over scripts, just generic.
You did talk about scripts and stuff. Okay.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay, fabulous. So here's the thing. If you want to learn something about like expireds, there were years that I did expired. So I went and I Googled all the KW videos of all the agents who are excelling with expireds. That is the most, do we have anybody who's not with KW here? So I know how to talk. No, but everybody's with KW. Okay, good. Okay. So, you guys are so lucky because you are starting with the right company. My first 13 years I was with Remax, and then I moved my team over to Keller Williams. I was actually the team leader for a couple years, and I stopped selling real estate, and I realized, I love selling real estate. It's my passion. It's super fun for me. So I went back to doing that. The database, and if you like the very first thing I have to read on this, you saw I highlighted it. The size of your database will determine the size of your bank account. And I promise you, after 25 years, that is 100% true. Okay. Also, some of the things we talked about, I never knew about this, even though being in the business, other companies don't quite understand really how to succeed in real estate. What was it? 2020. I went to another company after being with KW for 11 years. And it was the worst year of my life. Okay. It really was. So you are so lucky that you're starting here. And everything I mentioned, or everything I'm going to mention in this class, feel free to take notes. It is it's easily accessible to you. So Jen, I got off. See, you'll see that I get off sometimes. I just go off, but I will always come back usually. One of the things about that, Jen, what I would do is hopefully you guys have all partnered with a lender. Hopefully you've all sat down with that lender and you've got the basics on a conventional loan, FHA, VA, and USDA. You guys don't have to know much. To be honest with you, I don't even know what the credit scores are. I don't care because that's what my lender's for. And Jen, a lot of lenders, I mean, you can find, I mean, you could post on Facebook, is there a lender that would do open houses, or I'm trying to, I mean, 100 of them will do that, but that's also a safety thing. So I know it is kind of hard locking the door. I'm not gonna lie, I have a taser and pepper spray that I carry and I will tase somebody. But I've also done them with lenders. So that can always be your second person. Okay. Maddie, you said you spent a lot of time writing out addresses for your farm. That's what the title company's for. I can give the title company streets. I can give them, guess what? I want this neighborhood, and they will send a KW, or maybe I pick them up. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've done it, but they will print you out the labels. So all you're doing is stick them on your cards, you guys. You don't need to be handwriting anything. Okay. Jeannie, well, we're going to talk more about Facebook. Melissa, you created a farm where you live. And I'll tell you, one of the things when I was farming my subdivision, so I built this house, we were only 56. And because, you know, everybody started mailing to it, how I set myself apart was thinking of moving, choose the agent that lives in your neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm right down the street.
And that's kind of what my flyer says, like, these are the schools my kids went to. I know all the nooks and crannies, and there's the bridge. So I know all the back roads, so you don't have to get on Wallace.
Right. And then we are going to talk about finding addresses. Do you guys all know how to find addresses in RMLS? Are we all a part of RMLS? Are we? Okay. Are you going to be? The people that say no, are you going to be? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, and sorry, I'm off a little bit, but there are certain things where you guys are, I bet in your head, you're stressing, where am I going to find addresses? I know these people, yada, yada, yada. You've tried to call them. So let me share the screen very quickly. Can you guys see my screen yet? Hold on. Okay, hold on, you guys, I messed up. Hold on. Okay, so apparently I can't share my screen. I was able to last class. Do you know anything about that? Oh, hold on.
Let me make sure the permissions are right.
Well, I just changed something because there's quite a few things I want to share. Okay, you guys can see my screen, right? Okay, here's RMLS. I'm logged in. This is the front page. If you guys go to search, tax main, if you have the, we're going to go main. I'm assuming you have these people's names, right? We'll put in my name. Shoot, and I'm having to move this around. Search. And you get kind of a lot. It would be great if you knew their last name. So here I am right here. I'm going to pull that up, and there you have my mailing address right there. Okay. So I think that was it before we started. I just didn't want to forget to tell you some things. So I'm going to go back to unsharing my screen. Okay, here we go. Erin, have I unshared it? No, I'm sharing it. I don't want to share it anymore. Give me one moment. New share.
At the very top of the screen, there should be a little stop button near that green.
Ah, yeah, okay. Got it. All right, you guys. All right, now we're off. So I just wanted you to know, you can find people's addresses that way. If you're farming, don't bother doing that. That's what a title company is for. Also, as a new agent, you should pick an escrow officer in a title company. You should have a meeting with that person so they can give you the general basics of closing and escrow and what escrow is. Also, you guys, your lenders and title company person will have tons of free flyers for you, free information. They all have marketing people. Hey, I want to sit down with you and show me what you have. Do you know probably half my marketing that I put in buyer and seller packages come from my lender and come from the title company? So I would encourage you on both of those. Now we're going back to the database. Okay. So in this chapter, we're going to learn 4 things: building your database, growing your database, organizing your database, which is my favorite thing, and communicating with your database in a systematic way. Okay, keyword, systematic way. We're going to talk about that. Okay, so I don't think we're going to spend a lot of time on scripts. You guys know how to read, right? You have all these scripts. Where did I get the paperwork? Sorry. I don't know. Mara emailed it to me, but it is in KW, by the way. You can go into KW, enter the materials, and you can find all of this stuff. So because I feel that there's a lot of stuff that we need to talk about, we'll come back to scripts. One thing I do want to say about scripts, did you guys practice scripts in your first one? You did not. Okay, you know what? We're going to practice the script here. Okay. So reading these scripts are going to feel so uncomfortable. And a lot of people will tell you, read it word for word. You can. I don't. I mean, and you guys, there are many, many different ways to do real estate. I am big on education, and I go to and I teach seminars on the East Coast, and I take that stuff and I bring it back here. Don't reinvent the wheel, you guys. This has already been done for you. This isn't rocket science, believe it or not. It's not rocket science. Find ways that you like to do things. For instance, I mean, I'm going to tell you, there's farming, expireds, for sale by owners, social media, networking, billboards. We'll go through the list. But the goal as a new agent is not to spend money, right? Because you don't have any money at this point. Okay, so everything I want to talk about is really very minimal money. So page 10 on this, you guys, it's a referral script. So I'm going to call on somebody. Felicia, can you please read from up until if they are buying? Page
Sure.
10.
Sure. Hi, Sarah. My name's Felicia with Keller Williams Realty. Your name was given to me by a close friend of both of ours, Sandra. And she said that I should give you a call. Is right now a good time to talk for a couple minutes? Excellent. Sandra, I forget who I said.
I know, I was trying to remember who it was too. Sandra, Sarah, I don't know.
Said that you were thinking about buying a house in South Eugene. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading. And asked if I would please give you a call. She and I both want to make certain that you are in great hands and that you have the very best. So that's why I'm calling. Since everyone likes to know what houses are selling for, I'd like to share my real estate app with you. You can see what's going on anywhere from your street to any place in North America. It's free, there's no cost to you, and I can send you a text with a link to it. Does that sound good? Great. Sorry, I was having a really hard time
Okay.
reading.
Reading a script the first time is difficult. You have to read them over and over and over again. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick some scripts. You don't have to pick them all, you guys. Just pick a few and over and over and over again. So here's how I just got a referral. Okay. So I'm calling them. His name's Nolan. So here we go. Hi, Nolan. This is Charity Crosby with Keller Williams Realty. And Brad gave me your name. He said that you're thinking about purchasing a home and this is your first home and that you might need some guidance. So what I would love to do is set up a time that we can discuss what you're looking for and, you know, step by step what to expect during that time. You know, what days of the weeks are best for you? I'm sorry, I don't ask a whole, you know, to me that it's long. You guys, it was the same process, right? It's the same process. However, I'm not giving anything. I'm not giving my app until they sit down with me, because why do they need me then? You know what I mean? I want to get face to face. We would never list a house, you guys, without meeting the seller at the house, correct? So how can we really represent a buyer unless we sit down with them face to face? And that's another class. There's many other classes, you guys, and it's going to talk about a buyer broker agreement, things like that. But you want to get face to face. I want that referral face to face. I don't ask them any questions on the phone. I just don't. Other than, you know, once they're like, oh yeah, this time, and I'll be like, okay, so who's your lender? And then they'll tell me, and then I ask, what loan program have you been pre-approved for? You guys, whether you're doing random leads that call you, internet leads, I learned this the hard way. Are you pre-approved? Yes. Well, they don't know what that means, quite frankly. And sometimes they just lie. When I say, what loan program are you pre-approved for? That's a whole nother story. Conventional, VA, you know, I mean, so we know, so I know, are they really pre-approved or not? So that's kind of how I approach that subject. But again, the goal is to get this referral in the door face to face. We are going to, if they're buying. So, you know, again, I know these scripts, they ask a lot of questions on the phone, to be honest with you. How you are going to, have you guys all taken the DISC course, DISC class?
What class is that?
DISC, have we all taken that?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so.
Okay. So you guys, again, on KW, there is a lot of stuff on DISC. This was something I learned even before I went to, or, you know, came to KW. So I'm going to do a very, very fast version of this because it is very, very important. So one thing I want to say is, and I know this is harsh, so you're going to hear me say some harsh things, but here's the bottom line. Buyers and sellers don't care about you. Okay. They care about how they feel when they're with you. Okay. That's all you need to be concerned about. How do they feel when they're sitting at the table, or, you know, I'm in their home? How do they feel about me? I mean, you know, how do they feel? So, everyone in the world falls under one of four. D, dominant. I, can't remember off the top of my head, but they're super social. S, which the majority of the population, you guys, are S's. A lot of you are S's. I could tell by the way you talk. I mean, I can tell on the phone whether somebody's a DIS or C. C's stand for compliant. There are attorneys, you know, accountants. They're the ones that show up to the appointment with the 20 houses they want to see, and they've got an entire spreadsheet. Engineers, you know, that's that kind of stuff. So let me kind of give it to you in a driving perspective. So me, if you didn't know already, I'm a very high D. It is very difficult for me sometimes to work with us clients. However, that's the majority of who my clients are. If I came into an appointment, people are like, oh, well, you're just changing yourself. No, we are all DISC. It is just what we're dominant. And sometimes I just have to back the F off. Okay. And I mean, I'm sitting there at the table, and one thing I have to remember, don't talk. As a D or an I, don't talk. I sometimes I hold my hands like this and I'm squeezing. I'm like, just don't talk, just don't talk. Because Ds want to be overpowering. We don't want to be, it just happens that way. So let's take it in perspective on a car. So Ds are, you got a slow lane, you got a fast lane. Ds are riding the butts of everybody in the fast lane. They're honking. They have no patience whatsoever. Absolutely not. Those are they're freaking out because, somebody's in front of them. And they're also the ones like, bzz, 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 because, they just can't wait one car. I's, they're in convertibles with their phone. They're in the fast lane and they're just waving to everybody. Okay. And I know I'm being, kind of dramatic. S's are in the slow lane and they're not going over the speed limit, you guys. They're following the rules. Now, C's are compliant people. They're in the fast lane going below the speed limit. So the D's and the I's won't speed. Okay. So to give you a little bit of idea on how that works, because you will hear me say DISC. If I sat down with an S buyer who is very soft and whatever, if I come off strong, I highly doubt I'm going to end up with a buyer broker agreement by the end of that appointment. So what I have to do is I have to channel my S. It's in there. It is in there. So I channel the S and I realize I understand what my S clients need from me. And that's what I give them. It's not changing myself. It's giving my clients what they need so that they can feel comfortable with me. Okay. Well, again, we got off on a tangent. So I watched a great video on demand called Beat Out Your Competition with Farming Techniques That Win. Okay, love it. Okay, you guys, we're going to be moving right along. So we're going to head to page. So again, I just kind of want you guys to read a script. There are scripts galore, okay, on kw.com. I've gone on there and looked at things, especially when I wanted to change something like the open houses. I was like, oh gosh, I was training an agent. So I really wanted to train them Chris Suarez's way because it's fabulous. You guys, anything you need, it's up there. Also, one of the benefits of being with the KW office is that we share. Okay, we share. It's just the way it is. And that was hard for me to understand after being with Remax for 13 years. Is that I literally could go to anybody at KW and say, hey, I'm really struggling with my listing presentation or my UVP, your unique value proposition. I think there's a class on that, so I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to try not to. Okay, let's go to page 15, please. We are now going to talk about building your database. Now, you guys all know that you have a database, right? Do we all know that? We've all gone on to it, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Now, so because I'm older school, okay, it's hard for me to change the way I'm doing things because I don't like technology. When I started, there was no internet, you guys. It was a big blue book that got delivered on your doorstep. All the houses were gone by the time you got the book. You didn't have phones. You had a pager. Somebody would page you and you'd run to a phone and call them back. So, you know, it was very difficult, very difficult. So I will tell you, if I would have known this day one, it would have been fabulous and saved me a lot of heartache. It was about year 10, you guys, that I started this, and it is full on 100%. Also, I'm going to be referencing some pages in the MREA book. If you do not have this, please get it. You know, and it talks a lot of stuff which you don't care about, you know, like I don't know, economic model. I mean, honestly, I don't think too much of us care about that in the first year. We're just trying to get deals. So, but I'm going to reference page 138 quite a bit, 139. Yes. Okay. So, so I know that you guys all committed to adding 200 people in your database, right? By the end of Ignite. Are there 12 sessions? 13, 7? Again, this is interactive. I'm expecting like somebody to say something back.
I think there's 12. I'm just
Thank
looking
you.
at-
Okay, perfect. Okay, so if you're on page 15, if you want to kind of read the top, if you use email and who doesn't, you undoubtedly are inundated with notices from companies whose website you've visited from orders, right? Freaking drives me insane. You guys, email used to be huge, 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 huge. Nowadays, things go to spam, they go to junk. We can't rely on just email alone. And frankly, I unsubscribe. I order something and the first email I get, I go to the bottom and I unsubscribe because I get so many emails, like 200 a day. So it's just not worth it to get all that junk. So when you buy groceries with a membership card or shop at Target with a branded credit card, do those companies give you coupons or send you messages about upcoming events? Yes. Yeah. It's not a trick question. They do. I don't know if it's every week, every other week, I get coupons from Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay. I don't go there. I get coupons every week. I get coupons every week in the mail for certain businesses. When you think of potato chips, who do you think of? Coke, whatever. The reason you think of that is because they are top of mind for you. Their advertising is fabulous, okay, to where they think of you. And this is super sad, but I know people who are in the business 10 years and they're running around like it's their first year because they don't have a database. All their business is new. There's no repeat business. And I will tell you, do you know how many times I go on a listing appointment? Now, by the way, I've already looked up their house. I know who sold them the house, but I'm always curious why they didn't use that person. So what I usually say, I don't say why, because I get my answer. I'm going to say, so, and who sold you this house? 99.9% of the time, you guys, they don't remember. It's because that agent never stayed in contact with them. You guys, my people call me even from 20 years ago. I haven't, maybe I haven't caught them on the phone. But from 20 years ago, 25 years ago, these people will call me because I'm at top of mind, and we'll explain more about that. So also, well, I'm going to tell you right now, okay, because we're here. I don't use those coupons that I'm getting in the mail. But to be honest with you, every week as I'm taking the coupons to my recycling, I'm like, there's Bed Bath & Beyond again. You know what I mean? Okay. So again, I'm going to share my screen again because I think this is very important. We're going to talk about a 33 touch. Have you guys all raise your hand if you've heard of a 33 touch? Okay. All right. One of my most favorite things, and I'm going to share with you mine because I love it so much. So I'm going to share my screen with you. God, technology, you guys, technology. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I can't see you guys when I'm sharing my screen. So somebody has to pipe up, please.
Yes.
Okay, fabulous. So a couple things I want to show you before we get into all this. As you can see, sometimes I'll stop because I'm like, wait, I don't want to forget to show you this or tell you this, and then we'll go back. So I'm going to show you, because one of the things is, one, we're going to talk about growing your database, but also it's like, well, then what do I do with it? What am I supposed to do with it? So When I came to KW, it just was like this light bulb. It was 2010. And honestly, the reason I came is because of this book. It made so much sense. I had a huge team at the time, and I transferred my team. And then because I want to test it out. Okay. So I tested out this 33 touch in 2010. I got everybody in my database, and I started January 1st doing 33 touch. What this means, you guys, is if you touch, not literally, but figuratively, people, your Mets. So we're going to talk about Mets and habit Mets. Mets, if you systematically 33 times a year, for every 12 people in your database, you should be getting 2 pieces of business. This works, I promise you, okay? And this is why on page 1, the size of your database will determine the size of your bank account, okay? Now, by the way, I'm turning 50 this year. I have been single for a long time. I don't have anybody else to pay my bills. I have to work hard, okay? You guys, at the end of the day, I work hard. In the beginning, I worked 60 to 70 hours a week. I work, I don't know, 30 to 35 now. But my business has been set up to where I'm not advertising for new business. All I'm doing is keeping in contact with my database, okay? So here's my 33 touch. Now, by the way, it is bigger than, it's more than a 33 touch, you guys, but I just can't not call it a 33 touch. I just can't. I've tried. I've even named it different things. So here's my 33 touch. I do this actually I start this in September for the next year. Sorry, I can't see my screen because, okay. So every January, it tells you what I do. Okay. So you can see that I send out 2 mailers a month. One would be the newsletter, but let's go to February because this makes more sense. So I do send out 2 mailers a month. One goes out on the 1st and one goes out on the 15th. Okay. Why? Because statistics show somebody will forget you after 2 weeks, in 14 days. Okay. Now, the CAP card, and wait, you guys, I was going to show it to you, but I'm sharing my screen, so I'll show that one last to you. So look at this referral postcard. So I want to show you something on that. Here is the front of my referral postcard. It's half of a page. It's glossy. I order them, you guys, and I'm going to tell you where I order things. I order them because where I use these places because I feel like they give me the best deal for the best quality. I think you can order these through KW. I don't know. I'm just stuck in my ways. I use Bear Printing. They are fabulous, glossy. Thanks. Here's the front of it. Thank you for your referrals. Okay. That's a reminder. I want freaking referrals. Now let's see the back. By the way, do not ever send anything out that does not have a call to action. Want to know your home's current market value? Lane County home value. Oops, that's different now. Need to change that. I also have my website. Okay, so guess what the purpose of this is? The purpose of this, you guys, is so when they take it, grab it from their mailbox to their recycling bin in a matter of seconds, they know it's me. I don't change it, you guys. It's the same dang thing. Just like Bed Bath & Beyond coupons, I know what they are because of the color as soon as I look in there because they have a specific color. So you guys, that. The other thing I do, now Trenda used to be in our office. She owns marketing, design and solutions, and she'll do marketing for you. She does like, I think she's designed my signs in the past. She does these, CAP stands for Client Appreciation. Client Appreciation Postcard. I knew I was forgetting something. So here's the front. You can't see it, but it's 2 free macaroons. On the back is my info. And again, it says, want to know your home's approximate current value? market value, there's a website for them to go to. Please, please, please don't ever send anything out, whether it be email, newsletter, postcard, anything without a call to action on it, because you just wasted your money. Okay. Gone off on that a little bit. So the purpose of staying in contact is so people will remember you at the bottom, at the end of the day. So page 16, what is a targeted marketing campaign? Does anybody know? Okay, it'd be like apartments. So if I'm looking on page 138.
That is for a specific service or something,
Well,
maybe?
I call target marketing apartment complexes.
Oh.
And again, the title company can give you labels, okay? Things like expireds, for sale by own, I mean, things like that. So
Are you talking about like creating like your customer avatar? No, okay.
no, target markets are big things. Okay, so remember how I told you that your database, which has the the highest rate of return, for every 12 people in your database, you should be getting, if you are properly doing the 33 touch, you should be getting 2 pieces of business from every 12 people. Now, I have people in my database who have never bought or sold a home, but they refer a lot of business to me, okay? So they go into my database. We'll talk more about that. Okay, so page 17, what is a database? A tool that centrally stores customer and prospect contact information, which is regularly, underline regularly, updated with new details and events, can be organized and sorted as needed, and is continually added to in order to increase your business. So, I'm sorry I don't use eEdge, so I'm not going to talk about eEdge, but there are many, many classes on eEdge. I'm going to show you what I use. Yes. Actually, I might kind of jump ahead. I'm going to jump.
Can I ask you a quick question?
You can.
What is eEdge? Is it a different CRM?
It's a data management system. So when you sign up with KW, you get a free website, and you also get a CRM.
Right.
So that's part of your CRM. So you can add people in there. You can.
Okay, gotcha. I'm on Dana Burke's team, so we use something different. So,
What
but
do
I
you
didn't know.
use?
She uses by referral only.
Okay.
Yeah, I've used
I
several
use
of them. They only
Top
work if
Producer.
you use them, right?
Right. So, and I'm just going to explain to you guys, and I'm old school. I think you can use eEdge for both of these, but I have 2 different databases. I have a database for my Mets, and Mets, this is how I categorize it. You guys can read in your pamphlet how they categorize it. Okay. How I personally categorize Mets is somebody that I have met face to face, or somebody who knows me. So I could go through my Facebook group, for instance. And while I may not have met people per se face to face, or I met them, maybe we were at the same event, they still know who I am. Okay, so let's categorize Mets as the people who know who you are. So if they said, oh, Charity Crosby, they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know her. Those are my Mets. My haven't mets, and because this is going to be discussed more, you guys, in these classes, haven't mets for me are people that I have not met face to face, and I am not going to spend my money mailing to anybody that doesn't know me. Okay. My haven't mets would be my neighborhood farm. Okay. Expires. That's just, those are haven't mets. Now, I used to say face-to-face. Since COVID, we've done a lot of stuff that isn't face-to-face. So I've done buyer consultations over the phone. It's the same exact thing. Again, if that person knows my name, they're going into my METS database, okay? So I'm going to share my screen again. And because I want to show you why it is so important to have your people in a database. It is just, it's really life or death for your business. I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you why we need this, why we need a database. Okay, you can see my screen now. Okay, I use what's called Top Producer. I'm old school. Literally, I've been using this for like 20 years or however long it started. So now here's what I want to kind of show you. So there, do you see all this stuff? It's very cumbersome. Okay. And so is eEdge. There's a lot of crap there, you guys. I use 3 functions, only 3 functions out of this whole thing. I'm sorry, it's worth my $34.95 that I pay. It is. So my contacts, I can search for contacts. So let's say I just want to look up okay, by the way, I put myself in my database because I want to be part of every mailer because I want to know that it goes out. And I want to know my people are getting it. I don't know that I have any notes there. No, dang it. Who are we gonna, let's do this one. So I just added something in on him. This is a place, and by the way, when I'm talking to that person or that day, I come in here and I add a new note. Okay, so here's somebody, I go down, well, you know, and I put things in there that maybe, you know, that are just for me. So I referred him to somebody, he didn't like her, you know, I mean, I keep track of this stuff. He purchased this house through me in 2019, and now we're listing it. So again, and we'll talk about this. So I can keep notes. Okay. There's a lot of notes. I save the notes. Sometimes I have a lot of notes. So we'll do a client. Now these guys have been clients since I think before I started my database. Oh yeah. I mean, literally, can you see like how many, but they're very, very important. So I started that, they started a client in 2011, you guys. So I'm going to give this as an example on why this is so important that you put everybody in your database. My daughter played club sports all through school. I was in real estate for, Jesus, I mean, I don't know, 10 of those years, but I didn't want to come across as salesy. So, you know, you get these rosters of the parents. I never put any of them in the database, even like my friends or my daughter's friends, parents. I never put anybody in my database, you guys. So I go to this class in 2010, I go to this class and it tells me about databases. And I'm like, man, I just wasted the last freaking 10 years of my life. I should have been doing this. So I start. First mailer that goes out, the wife calls me, and mind you, she never spoke to me. Never spoke. I really thought she didn't like me. I did. I just thought, oh, she just doesn't like me. She never spoke to me. She calls me up. She goes, wow, Charity, by the way, it was the referral postcard. I just got your referral postcard. I had no idea you were in real estate. My mom needs to buy a house. Okay. 2011, sold mom a house. Then I sold that one. Then I sold her a little manufactured home in, you know, Park. Then Tana and her husband decided to sell their house. Then they bought a big one. Then they bought 2 rentals. Then daughter number 1 bought a house. Daughter number 2 bought a house just last year. Daughter number 2 is buying another house through me. 10, you guys. Okay. Mm-hmm. Had I never added her in that database, I never would have had this business. So I am going to go back to sharing my screen because I also want to show you something that's really important. that you can do and why a CRM is so important. First of all, I have to go back here and share my screen. Okay. So, one, I can keep notes. Here's the other thing I can do. Search for contacts. I have contacts in here. Let's say, I don't know, let's say I want a list of my A people, and I'll talk to you more about that. Done. Let's say my focus for the next week is going to be calling all my A people. Here they are, guys. I can do a little client report. Well, okay, it wants me to check something. I can do a little client report, like a phone list of some sort. I'll just do that. Jeez. We'll do the short address list. So what I do is I categorize my people, and we're going to talk about this, to where I can easily print out a list of those people. There's my phone list. And I have my CRM up, and I am adding notes to that, to their contact. That is extremely, extremely important. The other thing that you can do on these is, I send out an anniversary card. It's an automated populated thing in, the database. So it means I can put in the address, and so it's going to notify me every year on that person's anniversary. I set them actually all for the end of a month. So I print out all my Januaries, do those. And what I send out, it is a very basic card. I get just normal cards from Target or Walmart or Amazon. And I write, Steve and Tana, happy anniversary, exclamation. You've been in your home for 20 years now. I hope all is well. I stick a $5 Starbucks card in there, and I stick a $1 Scratch It in there. Done. Every year, you guys, every year. Okay. People are like, they're like, we just don't understand how you can remember, but again, it's another touch. That anniversary card is a touch for my past clients. Now, my database is full of past clients, and it's also full of Mets, just people that have never done business with me and maybe have not even referred to me yet. All right. So we talked about eEdge. You do have a CRM. And so I kind of want to go over these things because this is really important. Your database is much more than just a list of contacts. It's a living record of all your business relationships, current and potential. Okay. Here's the thing. You want a database that's online. Excel is not an online database. You drop your computer in the lake and it's gone. Okay. And I literally know people who have been in the business for over 10 years and have an Excel spreadsheet. The OCD in me just can't handle it. Have a database, please. You can take notes. You can do so many different things. It's also a tool to nurture and manage your relationships. So I want to tell you something. This sorry, I got off on a tangent, but this card here, it says 2 free macarons at a place. So what Trenda does is by January 1st, she's got a list of 12 businesses, actually a total of 24. And she emails me and says, okay, Charity, here are the 2 offers. I pick which one. I say, listen, I need 450 of them. Maybe 12 people will redeem them. Do you know the majority of people don't redeem them because they're like, well, we don't want you to pay for it. And I don't care. It is just a touch. Okay, it is just a touch. So you will have some like the free Papa's Pizza. A lot of people, like I might get 60 people, but out of 450, you guys, that's not that many. But again, I don't care. Frankly, I don't want them to redeem it. But what Trenda does is some of these things are like $2 for me. Okay, so she has already gone with these businesses. They've agreed that, oh yeah, if agents send this out, then we're gonna, for each one that's redeemed, it's only gonna be this much. Okay, so there's that. I just kind of wanted to tell you about that, that don't be afraid to send things like that out. because people love getting these in there. I have certain clients that literally email me every month. They get this. Thank you so much for the card. They never use it, but yet they thank me. So, oh, I went to my radiologist a couple weeks ago. Again, because everybody I meet face to face goes in my database. One of the first things she says, she goes, I love getting your little monthly postcards. She was like, that's so sweet. And I said, yeah, but you don't ever redeem them. She goes, well, I don't want you to pay money. But I'm like, oh, but that's what they're for. You know, I mean, so again, she thinks I'm great. Okay. I mean, she has lots of patience. And I know, you know, so there's that. Try to find my glasses because I have to read. We're going to take a little break here in a minute. Your well-intended database produces leads. I promise you, it truly, truly does. If you guys do this, it will. Like I said, in 2010, when I joined KW, because I'm like, you say it can happen, but is it really true? Well, I tested it out and it's true. So we're on page 18. Okay, well, we kind of talked about this. So I do want to tell you this. At the top of, I don't know what page this is, 18. 80% of clients, according to NAR, and by the way, this is 2014. I don't know why they're still using this, and it's still more. 88% of clients would use their agents again. Only 12% do, because only 12% actually stay in contact. Okay, just that's it. So NRA also tells us that on average, people move every 10 years. With 10 years between transactions, agents who don't leverage the systems to stay top of mind with all their contacts, people are like, oh, well, they just bought a house. Listen, you know, I mean, they're going to send you referrals and that's what you want. You're growing your database one person at a time. I mean, I have one person and, you know, and I tracked this, there was several years ago, I was like, dang, this girl has sent me on her own, not even family transactions, but friends. There were 9. And I was like, I got to send this girl something. So like I sent her $100 Visa card. I was like, you are the winner of being the most, you know, the person that refers the most people to me. So, and also your S's, you guys, they want to tell people about you. Okay. So S's aren't all bad. They're your teachers, you know, I mean, your HR people. I mean, they want to tell people about you. So eventually in your career, you are going to hear an agent complain that a friend, family member, or neighbor or past client used another agent. And then people get mad. You know, I'm like, listen, they're not your client, okay? You should be on top of it a little bit more. And I hate to take other people's clients, but I mean, at the end of the day, they really aren't their client if they're not in contact with them anymore. They lost that client as soon as they closed. Okay, so we're gonna kind of skip some of this stuff, to be honest with you, because you can read it. Okay, here's the deal. To keep a steady flow of business, you guys, you need people in your database who are going to buy and sell, but you also need those people to refer out to you. Okay. You're not going to make it just, I mean, if somebody's moving every 10 years, and like I said, I have some that are still in their house 20 years. Okay. We can't bank on that. We need to have those people think that, you know, we have to be top of mind and they have to think of us as the expert or the professional. And we will talk about that. So let me ask you this. How will you know when a buyer or seller makes a decision to buy or sell? How will you know?
Only if they tell you, I guess, or you see.
So you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
you do
don't
not know, you guys. You don't know. Things happen all the time. I mean, the listing, you know, that first contact, he was going to keep that house for the next 30 years. Well, you know, 2 years later, now he wants to sell it. Things change. So you can't say, oh, well, they're not going to do anything for 10 years. So, you know, I'll be on the 10-year plan. No, you need to be in contact. So the goal is that you're the first person they contact after they make that decision, okay? Because we can't read their minds and we don't know. Again, I'm just gonna kind of skim through some of this. We're gonna take a little break. We are going to watch a video of benefits of organizing your database. No, we're not gonna watch that. We'll see. We'll see. Some of it's just like, okay, you guys, let's get into more of the nitty gritty. Yeah, okay. We're gonna take a little break and then we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of the database. Who you can add into your database. I'm going to give you guys a ton of people you can add into your database, okay? So come back with pen and paper handy. I'm also gonna be asking you some questions. So be ready for that. And then what we're going to do is, I kind of did a little bit of a 33 touch, but we're going to talk about more things that you can send. And also, let's remember, every single one of us was new like you. Okay, every single one of us. You guys, we were all new at one point. I'm going to give you a couple tips. When somebody asks you how long you've been in the business, don't tell them, okay? What you say is, it seems like a lifetime, but I love it. Okay, I'm not telling them I've been in the business 2 weeks, for crying out loud. I learned that early on because sometimes people are like, oh, how long have you been in the business? I was like, oh, you know what? It seems like a lifetime, but I still love it. I didn't lie. It literally, my 2 weeks seemed like a lifetime. Okay, so you guys, and the other thing too, even being new, you can make yourself the expert. I promise you. Okay. Couple things I want to tell you. You need to have confidence. You passed your real estate exam, right? So you know more. I mean, honestly, that stuff is never going to help you sell real estate. I mean, we all know that now, right? I mean, I hope somebody told you that. But you passed the real estate exam. So it gives us a license to, help people with the largest investment of their life without a degree. I mean, I have a GED, you guys. I mean, so it is amazing what you can accomplish in real estate. But I also own my own business. And after my 10 to 15 years, from 10 to 25, I created my business. I treat my business like a business. So you guys are ahead of the game. You're doing this from day one. Okay. So we are going to come back at 2:30. I'm going to give you a list of people that I'm going to start rambling off people that I know you all have and that y'all are going to add to your database. Okay. I will tell you right now, and then I'm going to tell you how to categorize it. Okay. It's going to be fabulous. And then I'm going to tell you how to be the expert, because I want you to memorize 3 stats, and I'm going to show you where to get those 3 stats. Because when you're at a party, who was doing the networking? Fabulous. Somebody was out there doing networking. That was Jacob. So one of the things, you guys, and just so you know, I don't advertise for anything. I have found after, maybe after 10 years, there are certain things I like to do in real estate, and there's certain things that I don't. So at the time I had young children, it kept me away from my family a lot in the beginning. So I chose, you can't do all of these things at one time. You would go broke. Even like the biggest teams in the world don't do all of these things. I think you should try them, not in your first year, but when you get a little bit of money, hey, sure, I'll try geographic farming or whatever. Oh, hey, I'll try a billboard. Listen, I've tried it all. I've done the billboards. I've done it all. And I will tell you, it's not going to help you sell real estate. Okay. I mean, doing billboards, don't bother. Golf court benches. Nope. Done those. Grocery carts. Yeah. Not worth it. Done those too. So your database is the least expensive way and the best way to get leads. I promise you. And so when we come back, as I tell you some of these stories, it's going to click for you on why. And I guarantee you, you're going to have a ton of people you're going to be able to add to your database. Okay. So we're coming back at 2:30. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna wait 1 minute and we're gonna get started. And before I forget, you guys, I'm putting my email address in the chat box. So if you have any questions or you think of something later, then just ask. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Okay. So, all right, you guys, we are on page 21 of your little handy dandy book. So, and let's remember, without leads, you have no sales. Okay. And where do we get those leads? Well, we can get them, we talked about some ways, but your database is a surefire way. So on that page, it kind of talked about, well, it'll go into a version of METs, haven't METs, and referrals. Referrals to me are METs, okay? At the end of the day, they are. I want to go to page 22 because I want to clarify something, and this is my own personal opinion. So, like I said, sometimes I veer off from this. So, on page 22 at the top, you guys, it says sources of haven't METs. Your neighborhood or geographic farm. Yep, that's correct. Sports team mailing lists. Do they know my kid? Okay, then they know me, right? Because I'm at the games. Okay, or I'm at practice, or I'm giving kids a ride. So to me, that's a METs. Again, that was the Stewarts. Remember, I didn't put them in there. And then as soon as I did, I just got all this business from them. House of worship rosters. If they know who you are, add them to your database, for crying out loud. Okay, so I don't feel that, the people that I meet at church haven't METs. Clubs or organization member lists. Again, if I'm part of a club, I would hope that they know I'm part of the club. Some people play tennis, some people, I don't know, there's multiple clubs out there. You guys should have those people in your database, okay? They should be in your database. LinkedIn contacts, that could go either way. I mean, either way. Let's remember, and then it says Facebook, Twitter followers. No, those are my METs. Okay. I got a call last week and went on a listing appointment. Here's how this went. I got a notification. You have, instant messenger on Facebook. Hey, you don't know me, but we're Facebook friends and I have followed your cancer journey and your dogs. Okay. So he was a Facebook friend that I hadn't met, but he reached out to me, so he knows who I am. So first thing I did is he's in my database, whether he lists with me or not. Okay, he's a Met now. Geographic farms, yeah, those are. Now I want to tell you, I can't remember if I told you the rate here on geographic farming. On these farming and target groups, it takes a long time. So remember I told you your database, if you're doing the 33 touch for every 12 people, you should be getting 2 pieces of business. On geographic farming, for people that, you know, you don't know, that's a little bit different. So that ratio is, you need to literally have like at least 1,000 people in there, mailing to them every month for 12 months. You might get a rate of return 1 out of every 50. You guys, that's a lot of money. Okay, it's a lot of money. Not something I would encourage you to do, but I do have to tell you about it. Okay, I feel that there are other ways to do this without spending money. And you had a question, what do you do with the database to your haven't mets? So I used to do internet leads. I spent a lot of money on internet leads. Now they weren't going into my Mets database because, one, I didn't have addresses. Sometimes I didn't even have phone number. All I had was an email address. And back, you know, in that day, that was big. That's where we were getting our leads. So you can still use eEdge for it. I have a separate database. So I have my top producer, and it's because I just don't want to mess it up. It's just got all my peeps in there. So anybody else like internet leads, I would put in a different system that I couldn't do mailing out of or anything like that, you know. So your database should be very easy. The reason I use top producer is because when I sent, you know, when I showed you that phone list of my A people, I can also click, 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 and there's a page of labels and I print them out. I'm not handwriting anything. So it's why I've categorized. It's important to categorize your people. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So I use, it's called iHome Finder. It used to be Real Pro. To be honest with you, I hate it. I really don't use, I don't use it right now because I don't work with haven't mets. You know what I mean? So there's no reason. I don't know why I'm paying $206 a month. I mean, maybe I should stop. Okay. But what it does allow me to do is a broadcast email. And I think they've even changed the laws. Like I could broadcast out an email. I mean, I'd have thousands of people in this database, internet leads, you know, half of them were crap. I mean, not 75% of them were crap. So that comes in play for that. But I feel that, you know, as a new agent, a lot of your stuff is going to be your Mets. You know what I mean? It's, but you can categorize them. So I do that. And I do know that you can put them into eEdge. So I can't remember what page we're on. Okay. If you are doing internet leads, let's say you're on a team and they do internet leads, then, you know, one of the things you can offer in your campaign is your KW app. We all have an app that is, so what I'm looking for, it has our photo on it, etc. You know what I mean? It has our contact info. We're on page 23. So the goals for the contact are this: ask for their business, ask for referrals, and get information that you can put in your database so that you can nurture that lead. So here's an example. You're going to see, you're going to have me talk about Facebook quite a bit. In 2018, I got breast cancer and went through a year of treatment, lost all my hair, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why, but I thought, gosh, I'm just going to post this year, my journey on Facebook. And I did. And I got a ton of followers. So my Facebook, you guys, while it's a personal page, and by the way, I have a business page. The only reason I have a business page is to do Facebook ads. Okay. I don't care about it for anything else. Nobody cares about my business page. And nobody's going to be caring about your Facebook if you're just posting a bunch of business stuff. So I don't even do 50-50. I mean, to be honest with you, what I post on Facebook are new listings when something sells. Like let's say FHA raised their limit or interest rates, you know, just something. Because again, I need to put those little things in there so that they think of me as the expert. Okay, so people don't know if I've been in the business. I mean, well, they do now, but I mean, you know, they're not going to know that you're new. I mean, you become the expert, you start spouting out things and stats, and you know, and they're going to be like, dang, she knows what she's talking about, or he. Okay, so I did that. I put that, you know, my journey on Facebook, and I get a ton of leads. So about 6 months ago, you guys, I wrote an offer on an upper end home, and there were multiple offers. There was a ton of them. Yeah, I think this was late last year. And the agent calls me up and she said, so you were not even in the top 3 as far as price, but the seller wants to accept your offer. And I said, why? By the way, this was a little old lady seller who could barely move. Okay, she's moving into a retirement home. That girl goes on Facebook and looks all of us agents up who wrote offers and looks us up on Facebook. Well, her mother passed from breast cancer, and she resonated with my story. She says, I just feel that, you know, she's the one that's supposed to sell the house. Okay, sure. So while people say, oh, I don't want to do Facebook, I'm not going to lie. It's the new thing. You either need to get going on Instagram or you need to get going on Facebook. Instagram is for the younger gen. I try to get on there, but I don't do it as much. But I mean, Facebook, it's like people my age, it's where they're all at. All my, you know, my daughter's parents and so on and so forth. So honestly, you're going to have to be, you know, I truly believe that you're going to need to get on some social media. It is so easy to be able to communicate with your database that way. Example, everybody that's in my Mets database is my Facebook friend, or they don't have a Facebook. Okay. I mean, sometimes some people just don't, but they're on my Facebook. So people saw my journey. Like I had past clients that I hadn't talked to, you know, in 15 years, and they're messaging me and, oh, you know, my aunt has breast cancer right now. I mean, literally, people want to relate with you. Okay. So you have to be relatable. Facebook to me has just become the biggest way for that to happen. I have no filters on my Facebook. My personal Facebook is my business Facebook. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I don't post anything on there that I wouldn't want my daughter or my grandma to see. I never post, never politics. I never even comment on politic posts, nor religious. Okay, I have my own beliefs on both, and those are my own beliefs. It's just the way it is. So, but I really do feel that if that's something, you know, so you know, we talked about a lot of the ways we can sell real estate. I only do it 2 ways. My database and social media. If I'm going to be having to do this for 3 hours a day, you guys, it better be something I like to do. Okay. With social media, I will say, don't tell anybody I'm telling you this, but it's so much easier than calling. I mean, I have full-on conversations, you know, back and forth with people that I didn't know or whatever. And then you know what I do? First of all, I go look where I showed you. I have their first and last name, right? And a lot of times their spouse, sometimes it's just in the spouse's name. So I'm going to the records through RMLS. Now, if I can't find them, if I'm in some sort of dialogue, I send them a little message and I say, you know, as you know, I'm in real estate, and I send out goodies to some of my favorite people each month. And my goodie is that postcard. Like I said, I send out 450. Hardly anybody of them return. It's a great rate of return for me. That's how I get their email address. I know in this, it talks about, I'm going to send you stats. Not everybody wants stats, not going to lie. But when you say I'm going to send you something free every month, yeah, I have yet to have somebody say no to me. Okay. All right. So still on page 23, keep in mind why you want their information to build the relationship. Okay. So you'll want as much data as you can. Name, address, email, and by the way, it's on this page, phone number, social media, length of time in current house. To be honest with you, I don't care. Do they own or rent? Frankly, I don't care. Do they have pets? If I know that, yeah, because I'm a dog person. So a lot of my posts are about my dogs. So, you know, children and marital status. Yeah, I always want to know, are you married? Da, 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 da. Okay. So did you guys get the database spreadsheet? Okay, if you didn't, it's fine. You're just going to do this on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper after I tell you some stuff. But it's in, you can find it in the toolkit. Does everybody know where the toolkit is? Okay, so all of this stuff is in the toolkit. There's also an electronic version in Excel. Please don't even start that. Just don't, okay? Put your people in a database. Don't put it in Excel and say, oh, I'll get to it later. Don't do that, okay? There's no way to take notes. There's no way to categorize, and just don't do that.
Command is considered the KW database, yeah?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Alexa, off.
I was wondering that too.
Lex thinks I'm talking to it. I said her name again. She just won't stop. And she's on my fridge. I don't know how to get her off. So, yes, you guys, this is horrible. There is command and there's edge. Don't ask me the difference. But
No,
what I'm telling you today, those things will do.
Right.
Okay. Those things will do. So I want to tell you about who you can add in your database. Okay. Now we talked about if you're part of a group, Bunko. I joined a Bunko group. Guess what? There's 12 of us. I added 11 people into my database. Okay. That very first time. I got cancer. Sucks. But I gained a surgeon, a radiologist. I gained a chemo nurse. I gained an oncologist. I gained the people at Oregon Cancer Foundation. And so therefore, all those people went in my database. And I told you about my radiologist, you know, I mean, out of the blue, I only see her once a year. And she only went in there, you know, I guess in 2019, but she knows what I do. All I want people to know is what I do and how I can help them. Where's some other things? Daycare. Here's a good rule of thought. Anybody that you pay money to should be in your database. My hairdresser gives me tons of leads. My nail tech, my eyelash lady, oh my gosh, she has been just a freaking, I don't even have them on anymore. And her, my divorce attorney, my CPA, you guys, the list goes on and on. Think of who you give money to. All of those people. And, you know, in the beginning, you might think, well, you know, I know my hairdresser does a lot of real estate agents. Who cares? We don't care. Okay. All that person has to do is have a connection with you. Okay. If they like and trust you, they are going to refer family and friends to you. Hold on just a second. Your attorneys, my CPA. I mean, I have 3 different types of attorneys. And here's the thing, my divorce attorney in 2009, I got divorced. I put him in my database. He bought a house from me. He has referred multiple people. You know, it's never fun because they're always divorced people, but he sends me business. And sometimes it's just like, hey, Charity, can you just look up this house and do a CMA real quick for me? You know, we're trying to decide if we're going to need to get an appraisal way. I'm fine with that. You guys, again, I'm the knowledge person. Okay. I'm not the person that just is there to sell their house or buy them a house or, help them buy a house. I'm going to share my screen again because I want to show you one of the mailers that goes out with my newsletter every year in January. I call it the contact. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. The contact me flyer. So here are the things that I can talk about. Are you, do you need to build a house? Are you thinking about relocating, even just buying and selling? Questions about the local market. How much is your house worth? Do you need information about financing? Considering a home renovation, start a list, you guys, of preferred providers. Are you looking for an investment property? Are you doing a 1031 exchange? Blah, blah, blah. Now, let me keep going. My lender, okay, in my database. By the way, I sold the son a house last year. Now I'm in escrow with a nephew. My escrow officer, okay, my home inspector. Are you guys getting this? Anybody that I give money to is going in my database to get my 33 touch, okay? So here's what I want you to do. See, I want you to just grab an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And on the top, I want you to write name, that's one column, email, address. Frankly, I don't even care about the rest. I just care about name. 1 to 10. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. You're going to think of 10 new people to put in your database. Just names. You don't need anything else. Just names. Do you have children? Who are their friends at school? Are there teachers or a principal at the school that know you? Your kid's doctor, dentist, orthodontist. Oh my gosh, my orthodontist was fabulous. I got so much business from him. You guys, here's the key. 2 out of 3 agents aren't doing this. Do you go to church? Do you golf? Frankly, every single, here's another thing. Every single family member should be in your database, 18 and above. Every single friend should be in your database. Do you volunteer somewhere? I'm now an ambassador for Oregon Cancer Foundation. Every year I'm in charge of 10 red carpet survivors. They all go in my database, you guys. Here's the thing too. For instance, I went, and 2, I have somebody I'm going to be putting in my database. I just realized I've got another person to put in my database. Oh, I'm still screen sharing. Okay, so I went to Board and Brush last night. And by the way, I had been there several times before, but last night was the first time where the owner, I think, knew my name. You know what I mean? And I made a post on Facebook. Then she shared my post, etc. She's going to my database, you guys. Okay, that's one person right there. I mean, I have no idea if she has a niece. I don't care, because all I'm trying to do is build my database, communicate with these people, have them get to know me, have them trust me, so that when a coworker says, oh gosh, we're thinking of buying a house, but we don't like our agent. Oh, I've got the best agent for you. That happens to me all the time, you guys. Couple more minutes.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So many of my contacts, Facebook especially, are from the Portland area, and I'm in the Eugene market. So what do you think about that? I mean, I guess it's still good to add them because they may have somebody moving down to Eugene.
Or let's remember, if they buy or sell in Portland, you can get a 25% referral fee. Okay. So one of the things, you know, it's your job to educate your Mets. Okay. Because they don't know. So, you know, sometimes, so I'm from Portland. So I have a huge database in the Portland area. Now, a lot of, actually there are 6 of my friends that I went to high school with that are agents in the Portland area. I get referrals from all of them, but I also keep in contact with them. Okay. Now, those people get all my other stuff, but I only send to the local people that card, you know, the freebie, I call it the freebie, because somebody from Portland isn't going to use it and it's just a waste of postage. But yeah, I've got agents. So I've got certain agents in Oregon, like I have one in Bend and, you know, one actually all over the place. But they get my referral postcard so that I'm top of mind. You know, I just got a text earlier this morning that an agent in Bend said she gave her nephew my phone number. So we'll see. You never know. But I'm top of mind. There's a lot of agents. She knows a ton of agents. But here's the thing too. How you're going to get referrals is by being good at your job. And I will say job. It's not a job, it's a business. Okay. We don't have a job, we have a business. Okay. Nobody's giving us a check. Nobody's giving us leads. All right. This is a business. You need to treat it like a business. So, oh my gosh, see, I don't even know where I was going with this, you guys. Like sometimes. Huh. Well, we'll figure it out. If you guys think you know what I was gonna, or what I'm talking about, please chime in, okay? Felicia, it had something to do with your question, right? Or else I got off on a tangent on that one. What was your question?
Well, I guess,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just have to know, you know, what's going to be worthwhile to what content to send, I guess.
And you guys, and a lot of times too, so let's say these people are out of the area and you can't find, and you know, by the way, anywhere in Oregon, I believe, in parts of Washington, you can look up the county record. So it doesn't matter if they live in Portland. That's how I found my, you know, Portland peeps. So you can look them up that way as well and put them in your database. And here's the thing too. I mean, I have a database of what I call referral agents. Now I don't mail to all of them. I mean, that to me, it's a waste of my money. But I do email them a monthly newsletter. Okay, so they get included in my monthly email newsletter that, hey, here's the market. And then I do some fun stuff with it. You guys make it fun. You know, this is your business. Create it how you want it. Send out what you want. You know, that's the great thing is nobody's going to tell you what to do. You can just be like, oh, well, I like this. Do it. Okay. I need everybody to raise their hand. Who got 10 people? And I need you to keep them raised, please, because I can't see everybody. Keep them raised if you just came up with 10 people. Huh. Wow. 5 minutes. You guys just came up with 10 people. Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay. Every place you go and every person you meet, you'll start thinking of them as the database. Can I put them in by the way, you can do whatever you want. Put them in whatever database you want, as long as there's a database that you're communicating with. Okay, so great job, you guys. Was that hard? I want to know where some of your peeps came from. Everybody tell me where one of them came. Gary, go ahead. What was one, where did one that you thought, oh gosh, I didn't put this one in there?
My kids go to daycare, or I mean,
Ah.
they don't go to daycare. They in school, just some of the parents, some of the kids' parents. So I put, there's 2 sets of parents that I got from my kids
There you go.
right
Okay,
now.
perfect.
My wife has their numbers though. I didn't get their numbers, but I do know them, and they do know me.
As
'cause my
long as
wife-
they know you, you're good.
Yes, right.
You'll-
That's
you'll
what I'm
get the-
banking on.
You can get the info later.
Yeah.
So, Jeannie, where did you, what was someone you thought of that you hadn't thought of before?
My daughter's friends, parents.
Perfect. You guys, those are gold mines. Gold mines. Jacob. Okay, you might.
Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm here. I'm also at work, but I was
Oh.
thinking of just other contacts and people that I have at my state job when I was
Yes.
making some contacts just now.
Okay, yes, I was gonna say, your work people, your boss, everybody. Oh, well, wait, no. Maybe you don't want to do that to your boss. If you've left the job, maybe start advertising to the other people. Seriously, coworkers, past jobs. It doesn't even have to be the last job. Think, 10 years. I mean, some of you guys probably aren't that old, but I mean, think other jobs. Who do I know? Okay, Michael.
Local bow shop, bow tech down the road. I actually connected with the tech down there. We were just talking about military stuff. I didn't even think about adding them, so that's a good idea.
There you go. Roseanne.
My neighbors. I
Yes.
didn't think about that.
You
but
guys.
my neighbors.
Yes. So I added in, okay, what was it? I bought a house a little over a year ago, and I introduced myself to either side of the neighbors. And then the neighbor across the street introduced themselves. And then the one down the street, you guys, I already have all their addresses. Okay, easy peasy, as many neighbors as you can. Who was next? Who just told me, oh, Felicia.
Yeah, my dentist, my kid's old principal, who was kind of a friend also.
Yep.
I didn't think about my divorce attorney, so.
Oh, they're very fruitful with business, unfortunately. Sad but true, you guys.
And then our realtor, who sold our house after we got divorced. I've stayed in contact with him, so.
Okay. Perfect, perfect. All right, Jen.
I just went to the eye doctor and he said he just got divorced, and so I just kind of told him why I was at the eye doctor, because I couldn't see the computer screen for this stuff.
Yep. Perfect.
Later
Okay.
on in.
Yep, my doctor's in mine too. Okay, Jackie, is that right? Jackie, yeah.
Yep, that's right. I put a couple of my kids' gymnastics coaches. So I got 4 of them on there, and some old coworkers and some teachers. That make it.
Perfect. Okay, Maddie.
My idea came from when you were talking about your daughter, because I played travel ball for 7 years. So I probably have like hundreds of names that I could pull from those.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Joni, am I saying it right?
Close, it's Johnny.
Johnny, okay.
That's okay. Yeah, so my CPA, old teachers, had some coaches on there that I never thought of, parents of my son, and then some girls that I was in a club with when I was a kid.
Perfect. Okay, Melissa. Although you did just
was
add
unmuting.
150. I don't know if you
What
came
was
up with
that?
10 more. Didn't you just add 150 to your people or to your
I
database?
finished it on Friday.
Okay.
And I mean, name, address, email, phone number, date of birth.
Okay. Did you think
For
of anybody new?
Not right, no. But a couple of things, you can download all your contacts off your phone and it will go into a spreadsheet. You can also download all of your friends on Facebook, and then you can start it's not going to give you their contact info, but you
Right.
can start systematically working on that.
Mhm.
Those are 2 ideas just for those who are getting started on it.
Mhm.
Ask your mom or dad for like the old family address book. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Ariana, saying that right?
Yes, you are. I never thought of the Delta Waterfowl group that my husband and I have been involved with.
Yep. Perfect. Ethan?
Yeah, I was thinking about doctors and like haircut people. I was like, wow, I actually have a whole bunch of different people that I can go to. Because in the past, I was just thinking about like friends and parents of friends that I see more often. Then I'm like, wow, there's actually a lot of people I can add. So
Yep. Yep. Haley?
Yeah, I just thought of the teachers that I just met that work with my husband at the school that he works at. I didn't think about them before, but I happened to just meet them, and so they know of me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you guys, this is fabulous. Great job. Good job. So do you see like into every day, like honestly, just sitting here, I was that one, who did I say I was going to add into it? Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, see. Now, couple things though, going through your phone, great idea, Melissa. Facebook. So I wanted to add 100 people to my database last year and I did it through Facebook. And now I want to add, my goal is to get to 500 by the end of the year. I think I'm at 450-ish. And so how I'm going to do it is Facebook. So
there was a great video that I watched once again in KW University. I swear by those videos. They're free. They have so many resources for us. It's unbelievable. But this gal worked she liked to do little small events. So like she would invite 2 or 3 clients to like go get pedicures and then ask them, well, bring somebody that you think that I don't know that would have fun. Oh, well, I need their name, email, and phone number so that I can send them the invite. Bring.
Perfect.
Freaking genius. And you could do that with hiking, wine tasting, hiking, dog park. I mean, what do you like to do?
Mm-hmm.
Then go do that.
Absolutely. Yep.
It was genius.
Yes. So here's the other thing too. Now, you won't see me much at the realtor functions, because I'm a homebody. I like to stay at home. And as a high D, socializing, like I feel like at the end of, so honestly, by the time I get home at 5 or 6, I am so spent. I turn, I take off my makeup, put my hair in a bun, and I put on pajamas because I'm literally spent. So, and it's that way when I go do events, but they're very, very important. So I try to make sure, and 2, ever since cancer, I have this thing. If it's not going to bring me, well, I mean, it's not, again, don't reinvent the wheel. I stole this from Marie Kondo. If it doesn't bring me joy, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it, you guys. Life is too short. Okay. So it is so easy to get overwhelmed. You guys are in your first year. I promise you at the end of after your first year, even 6 months from now, you guys, this is going to be a lot easier. Now, in my daughter's boyfriend got his license a couple years ago. In his first year, he sold 11 million by himself by doing the database. Okay. He had worked, you know what he did? His previous jobs were, the kids sports, when they have kids sports games and then somebody goes and picks up or, help, coordinates that, whatever. So he knew a lot of people. And he just tapped into that. Just that. He's not even from here. And he just tapped into old employees and contacts from the U of O and kids sports. $11 million his first year. Like, that's crazy. So it can be done, you guys. It can be done. And he had no direction. I'm not going to lie. He was on a team, no direction whatsoever. So it can be done. You just have to work for it. And I'm not going to lie. That kid works 60 to 70 hours a week, even I think we're on year 3. That's what he chooses to do. Okay. And he makes a lot of money doing it. So obviously, just with anything else, what you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. Okay. I want to talk about classifying now. On page 25, let's see. And 26. Okay, the reason I feel like this can be really overwhelming, because there's a lot to it, and I feel it can be very much simplified. So I'm not going to read through this. You guys can read. I mean, and two, we all know if somebody gave us a referral or called and said, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house, you know that you should call that person right away. Okay, like right away. If you're at work, excuse yourself, you got to go to the bathroom. I mean, because people are impatient. I know I am. If I'm not getting my answer right away, I'm going to the next person. Okay, so you need to be on it that first year. And, you know, then you're going to start figuring out your schedule. FYI, I don't ever tell people, my clients, what I'm doing. Okay, so yesterday, I couldn't have any appointments. I had breakfast with friends, had a Bloody Mary, came home, did some meal prep, and then I went to board and brush. But you know what I told my client that wanted to see property? And it wasn't an emergency, by the way. If it's an emergency, well, no. If it's an emergency, I'm going to find somebody else because I already have my day planned of personal things. I just told them that I was completely booked up with appointments on Sunday. I did not lie. Okay. But the last thing somebody wants to know is, oh, my kid has a game, or, oh, I have to go do this. Again, they don't care about you. Okay. At the end of the day, they care about how they feel when they're with you and when they're talking with you. Okay. So that is super, super important. Oh, I got to let Haley in. She somehow got lost. Okay. Oh, you're back, Haley. Okay. So, let me tell you about categorizing. In this, it tells you to categorize. And by the way, I did it this way in the beginning. It's like, oh, it's a buyer. Oh, it's a seller. So, and two, you can make categories in Command or whatever database you are, whatever database you use. You can always use categories. I would, oh, and I got off on a tangent. You guys should be going to the Eugene Associate, all the commerce events. If you have to choose between a realtor event and, you know, the Springfield Chamber of Commerce event, you're going there. When you get a business card, you know, and always have them in your hand, because, you know, our job is to meet people. If we are not meeting new people, our business is not growing. Okay. Let me say that again. If we are not meeting new people, our business is not growing. It's going to be exactly what it is right now. Okay. So we need to go out and meet people. It's not something I personally like to do, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't. But anytime somebody wants to go somewhere, you know, to one of these events, call me up because I should be going. Okay. But that's the thing. Our job is to get in front of people. So I'd go to these chamber events and I've got people in my database. So then I would categorize them chamber and this and that. At the end of the day, I don't need to categorize the two people that I met at a chamber event or the, you know what I mean? And here's the thing, if you categorize them buyer or seller, and maybe, and again, I'm just talking for my Mets database as far as that goes. They might start out as a buyer, but then they're going to turn around and maybe be a seller, or maybe they start out as a seller and then they're going to be a buyer. So you do it your own way. I did all the categories. Okay. And then I stopped. Here's how I categorize my database. And by the way, this is my Mets, because let's say haven't Mets are for internet leads. People I don't know. And to be honest with you, I want to focus on your Mets. So they go on one of two categories. They're either a past client or they're a sphere. My mom has never purchased a house ever. So she's in my sphere. Okay, simple, right? At the end of the day, I don't care whether my past clients are buyers or sellers because they're going to become one or the other later on. Now I have one subcategory. And this is how, well, I'm just going to tell you how I do it. So all those people fall under another category. They're either A prospects, B prospects, or C prospects. Okay. My A prospects are these. And by the way, pretend this is a lead sheet here. You guys, my current buyers and sellers are on a bright yellow lead sheet, one page, and then they go in a folder. So I got a folder full of the leads. I look through them every day. Wait, should I call this person? Should I follow up on this person? I know it's old school, you guys, but it works for me. Okay. And this is how I can keep my Mets database so high and tight. Okay, they go into three categories, A, B, C. A are people who have done business with me more than once or have sent me a referral. My mom is a Sphere/A prospect. She's never purchased from me, never sold through me, but she gives me referrals. I feel referrals should be rewarded just as a deal. Okay? They are that important, that important. And I also told you what I did for a referral. Always give them some little gift. And you know what? You do it immediately. You don't wait for that referral to call you because they might not ever call. You want to reward them giving out your name. Okay? So I know some people, oh, I send out a thank you card after closing. Okay, it's too late. Nope. You get off the phone with that person or that person texts you or so-and-so, or even sometimes they don't even call me ahead of time. I'll get a call and they say, oh, you know, so-and-so is my coworker. She, you know, I'm thinking about buying a house. She told me to call you. Second I hang up with her, I'm writing that thank you note with the Starbucks card, the $5 Starbucks card, and the lotto thing. I keep them at my house. There's a drawer. So bam, bam, bam. It literally takes me 60 seconds to do it all. It goes in the mail. Okay. So those are A people. A lot of people will tell you, oh, you don't want more than 25 A people. You don't want more than 50 A people. To be honest with you, the more A people, the more business I'm getting, right? Now, the reason I categorize this like this is because pre-COVID, maybe I want to do something special for those people. Okay, I think I have 68 of them. My goal is to get to 100. And you know, you have people move out of the area. And I mean, honestly, when they move out of state, unless they have a good referral source still here, to be honest with you, I don't waste my time. I really don't. But that's your call though. Completely your call. Again, let's remember postage has just gone up. It costs to make the postcards. It costs to print them. So be very, very picky about who you're going to spend money on. Okay, B. B are all my other past clients, frankly, that haven't referred anybody to me or done business with me again. B are the ones like, they're my friends, they're my family. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would use me. I'm pretty darn sure. You know, I'm like 99% sure those people under B, and by the way, you know, I have a lot of B. And then my C people, or I don't have any freaking idea. It's my radiologist. It was my hairdresser before she referred somebody to me. You know, it's my oncologist. It's the people that, to be honest with you, they know me, but I'm not quite sure if they would use me because I don't know if they have a family member that is in real estate and things like that. But at the end of the day, our job is not to, wonder, will they use me or not? We don't care. Because the size of our database will determine the size of our business and how much we make. Okay. All right. Any questions on that? And you know what? Now it's a game for me. Let's say I have a C person. I mean, you know, I mean, honestly, I'm just going to give my hairdresser as an example. I mean, she refers so much business to me. It's crazy. But I mean, she was a C person. I mean, I didn't know who were other clientele, you know, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know if she would use me. So, and now she's an A. So it's a game for me. My whole database is like this fun game. How do I get the C's to the B's and the B's to the A's? And then, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's the OCD in me. So there's that. Do we have any questions about how you can categorize your database? Again, there's no right or wrong way. How is it going to be the easiest for you? And to be honest with you, I'm never sending a mailer to only buyers. I'm never sending a mailer to only sellers. I'm never sending a mail because what a waste of my money. Okay. It's going to be a blanket one that's going to cover it for everybody.
Right, I do have one question. So how are you using the categories? You know, what benefit is that providing if you're, I mean, do you just send the A people the gifts and the B people? How does that
To
work?
be honest with you, it's just, and you saw on Top Producer. So when they go to an A, I also write down who did they refer to me. Okay. And then when I put that person in the database, the new person, the referral, I put in their contact who referred me so that I always know. Now the categories are because, and to be honest with you, it's just the easy way for me. You can do it any way you want, but I personally, the past client in the sphere, have I ever just sent a mailer to my past client, not my sphere? No. But let's say, wait, I want to know who all my past clients are right now in my database. All right, well, I can easily print a list. Who, you know, hey, I want to do a wine and cheese party for my A people because, you know, they give me the most business. Well, I just have to pull that list. It takes me 30 seconds. That's why you categorize.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now I will tell you this. Well, if I was doing mailers, by the way, let's say I wanted to start mailing to expireds. It's not going to happen, but let's say I did again. They would go in that database, but they're not on any other category other than expireds. They're not getting all the other stuff. I mean, I am going to have them on a plan of some sort. Okay. And which is what we're going to come into. So, you know, and let's see, page 27, you can, you know, classify, you can type, for example, buyer, seller, agent, renter, investor, vendor, who cares? Who cares what they are? You just, you know, you want business from them. And then you can classify by group, family, friends, work contacts, school, sports. I mean, I'm not going to lie. At one point I had like 9 and 10 categories on people. It was such a waste of time, such a waste of time. And then I just realized I need to simplify my database. It seems easy now, but it's not going to be when you get 100. You need to simplify it. So that was just my easy way of simplifying it. They're either a past client or my sphere. Those are all people that I've met face-to-face or who know me. Then there's subcategories, A, B, or C. Not based on, are they an A buyer? No, it's, you know, my A people are on a lead sheet. Okay, so I don't need a list for that. You know, I mean, they're already in my database and they're categorized sphere or past client. A lot of my leads are past clients. So they're still in the database. I don't have to, you know, the only thing I'll have to do is if they were a B, now they're an A because we're going to do business again. And by the way, I do not change the categories until we close escrow. Okay, because otherwise then it screws up my numbers and I like them to be exact. Okay.
Charity,
Yes.
do you market differently to past clients versus your sphere? Okay.
Did you see that 33 touch? That's for
Yes.
everybody. Doesn't matter if they're an A, B, or C prospect. It's for everybody. And why? I mean, what a waste of our time. You guys, all we need to do is keep in contact with somebody. And show them that we're the expert. That's all we need to do. Okay, that's it. You know, I'm gonna let you read through some of this because it's a, you know, it's just like categorizing. Again, you can do anything you want. Now we're gonna talk about campaigns pretty quickly. Then it's kind of like, what do you send things out? On page 29, you've got this thing called an 8x8 and a 33 touch. Probably should, okay. I don't ever do the 8x8. There's no reason. I mean, my 33 touch is fabulous. You know, they don't need to be on, I don't need to waste my time on something else, add something more crap to give, you know, my 33 touch is good. So I just put them on a 33 touch. But you can read this. And by the way, there are campaigns, there are 33 touches and 8x8 campaigns in eEdge, Command, or both. Okay. So when I say that so a lot of my stuff is automated, but also it's just on the calendar. On the 1st of every month, my cap cards go out. Okay. On the 15th of every month, my referral postcard goes out. I mean, it's only 2 things. It's not hard for me to remember, for crying out loud. I print off the list of who closed in the month of July. You know, maybe there's 10, maybe there's 20. I do my little anniversary card with the $5 Starbucks and a $1 scratch it. Okay. You guys, don't make this more difficult than it needs to be. What is the goal? Build your database and communicate with it. That's all you really need to do. All right. So now I do want to talk about your 33 touch has to be a combination of some things. Can't just send mailers. You do have to get on the phone. You know, they need to be calls. They need to be handwritten notes. They need to be emails, and they need to be mailers, postcards. So for instance, in January, I mail out, because there's a lot of people that don't have Facebook. And I learned this because after my year of cancer, I sent out, I was like, oh, just another touch. It was 1 page, a newsletter. I didn't talk anything about business. It was, hey, you know, just an update on, you know, what's going on. I got so many calls. Oh my gosh, I'm not on Facebook. I didn't realize that you were going through this, on and on, you know, again, extra touches. So guess what? That newsletter instigated people to call me. I mean, that's the best thing ever, right? You send something where they're going to contact you. Okay. So don't feel weird about doing that kind of stuff. I mean, again, people want to do business with people they like and they trust, and basically who are like them. Okay. So you need to give a little bit, especially if you're going to be working social media. You'll see my post, you know, the posts, very few posts that I do for business. It's about my dogs. It's about my life. It's about what I do. I mean, to be honest, yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, when I'm looking at people, right? I mean, we Google people and we look them up on Facebook. That's one of the first things I do when I get a name, a new client. I mean, I look them up on Facebook and Instagram because I want to know what they like. Okay. They're doing the same exact thing to us. So have a good presence. Just a helpful tip. Okay, 29. Okay, so we're going to kind of have to wrap this up. Okay, so some things of value that you might not know that you can send. Okay, by the way, I know that you can make postcards in eEdge or Command and or both. There's also something called Canva. It's not that expensive. I think it's $10. You can do a lot of stuff in there. I haven't used it yet, but I have it. My daughter does stuff for me all the time in there. So items of value. Let's talk about that. Market stats. You know, articles, local, you know, I don't know about you, but I could care less about the national stats. I honestly could care less. I care about where I live. I care about Lane County stats. So I never post anything that's, oh, unless it's like something big, like the interest rates. But I mean, just because prices are up nationally in, blah, 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 doesn't mean that they are in my community. So I am only giving local stats. It talks about local points of interest, Chamber of Commerce information, by the way. Do you know that at least they used to, they had a ton of stuff at the Chamber of Commerce. There's Springfield, there's Eugene, a preferred vendor list. Once you start getting your peeps, that's something you can send out 1 month. List of rebates for homeowners. If you look up that kind of stuff. Interesting articles where you're like, hey, I saw this article. I thought of you. We just wanted you to know, maybe a local calendar of events. To be honest with you, these are not things that I would mail. I mean, I'm not going to waste my money. These are things that I would probably post on social media or send out via email. I'm already sending out 2 mailers a month, and sometime, yeah. And also in December, people get a magnet that goes on their fridge, a calendar magnet, and shoot, which I need to do, write this down. They also get the football schedule. So in August, and I'm not kidding you, I go to people's houses all the time and there's my magnet there. You guys get this. This is crazy. I had this random call and this lady goes, you don't know me, but you sold my brother his house. He died unexpectedly and your magnet was on the fridge. So I'm calling you to sell his house. Okay. From a stupid magnet. Okay. I mean, that paid for how many years of magnets. All right. So little things, things that have your name. I mean, like I said, those things I mentioned, those are things that I probably post on Facebook. Stay top of mind. Okay. Now we're almost out of time and I do have to end this right at 4, if not before. So you guys, I'm going to show you a couple places to get stats. I want you to remember 3 stats. So when you're at a party, and honestly, when you're at a party or you're something, and what do you do? Okay, they're going to ask you what you do too. And when they know that you're a real estate broker, a lot of times, so how's the market? Okay, you got to have something to tell them. And you can't hum and haw, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you better memorize 3 stats. Okay, 3 stats that you can just throw off the top of your tongue. I'm going to show you the 3 stats that I memorize every single month and where I get them. I was going to tell you something else about stats. It'll come to me. So we're going to go back to MLS. Oh, by the way, you guys know that we get the TMO report. Are you guys getting emailed that? Make sure you're getting the TMO report. I believe there's a class on how to read the TMO. It's pretty powerful. Only KW has it. So I would definitely, and they break it out Eugene, Springfield, and I think greater Lane County. And I think they do, I don't know. I mean, I know some of you guys are out of the area, but Northwest, it should be all of them. Because I think, what's his name? Australia guy. Oh, it'll come back to me. Okay. Anyway, let me show you where you can find fabulous stats. On around the 15th of the month, we get an email from MLS and it's with what's called the market action. Now, if you miss it, I'm going to show you where to find it. Share my screen with you. Okay. Can you all see my screen? I can't see you. Yes. So somebody's got to say yes.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, guys, let's go to the home screen. And again, I might have to look for it because, oh, wait. Okay. And by the way, play around with MLS on all these market stat things. Play around with it because you'll find, I mean, I've used them for listings and things like that. That's not it. 1 second. I know exactly. Guys, I just looked it up. Oops, I have to move you a little bit. Let's see if it's under here. So many things MLS has now. Oh, dang it, I just saw it. Latest market action right here. Click. And then you'll come down here. The email is a lot easier. So you'll get an email. I click on Lane County. Fabulous, you guys. Here we go. Honestly, I don't care about anything past page 1. And this is Lane County minus Florence, just so you know. So, and somebody says, Charity, how's the market doing? Well, it's been crazy. It's been a very strong seller's market. However, in June, our inventory rose over a month, which is the first time we've seen that in almost 2 years. I always know what our inventory in months is. And let me explain this to you, what inventory in months means. For an even buyer and seller market, we should have 5 to 6 months, meaning at the rate buyers are currently buying homes, it would deplete our entire inventory in 1.1 months. We need 5 to 6 for it to be an even market. Now, when it tilts the scale above 6, I've been in markets where there was 20 months of inventory. Okay, you couldn't give houses away. I mean, you just couldn't. So we are still in a strong seller's market, but here's this key right here. This is how you're going to know as we're switching. Is this month in inventory? Okay, that's important. Now, we all want to know what appreciation is, right? So I tell them, you know, if you compare the previous 12 months, we're at almost 15%. And actually, I probably wouldn't say that. I would actually say 14.8 because it sounds lower. 14.8%, which is fabulous. I mean, because good appreciation, you know, I mean, Oregon averages over, I mean, the last 30 years, about 3 to 5%. So, I mean, that's fabulous. But if you looked at this 6 months ago, it was almost 21% appreciation. So as you can see, even though we're in a high seller's market because of low inventory, due to the high interest rates, sellers are now having to lower their house prices. Okay. Also, you guys, as we see this 1.1 months of inventory go up, we're going to see this appreciation level go down. Okay. So those are 2 things. My third one is, what are the days on the market? So, you know, right now it's 26 days, and it's similar to last year. You know, it's 25. So we're similar there. It's under a month. Again, that's going to rise as inventory rises because it's all about supply and demand. So do you see how that one thing right there, I just grabbed 3 stats. I memorize them every single month when this comes out. I don't memorize anything else, you guys. That's it. But when I am asked at a party, how's the real estate market, Charity? I ramble off those stats. Okay. So any questions about that?
That's great. Thank you.
You guys you don't have to know everything. Okay. Know enough to get by. Even me. I mean, frankly, I mean, there's a lot more information on that. Those are the 3 stats that I'm most excited about. So those are the 3 I memorized. To be honest with you, I mean, I memorize what I want because I'm going to retain it. Every single month I get that email. First thing I do is I pull it up. Bam, I got my 3 stats. for the whole month. Doesn't have to change. Okay, so I feel that, we didn't talk a lot about campaigns, and that's because, you really need to go in. And you can see mine, mine's in an Excel. I did a little thing. Guess what? In January, they're getting this, and they're getting this, and then this, and then this. So I know every single month ahead of time for the whole year what's going to happen. I'm not trying to think of what am I going to send. It's already done. And that's also why my referral postcard never changes, because frankly, I don't have time to do that. And I'm not creative, and I'm just gonna have to pay somebody to do it. So as I've gotten older and, moved from out of the team aspect to doing it individually, which I have never done before. I mean, except for the last 5 years, 6 years, I have always had a team, or at least an assistant, or at least a buyer's agent. So, I don't want to remember too many things at the end of the day. But these plans are literally already set up for you. KW has command classes. They have e-edge classes that will walk you through this stuff. Okay. Any questions that it doesn't even have to do with this. Do you have anything specific? There are no stupid questions, by the way, in real estate. None. Because knowledge is power when it comes to real estate.
I have a question.
Let's remember, you guys, this is the largest purchase somebody's ever going to make. So they're trusting us, and we better do a damn good job for them. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, you taught us how to look up addresses via their name. Who should I reach out to for the SMLS or SOMLS? Because I'm in Southern Oregon.
Oh.
Yeah. I just looked to see if I could figure it out, and negative.
Southern. Okay. So tell me what does that encompass? What city?
It is like Jackson County and Josephine County. And then we also do.
I'm sorry, I don't know counties. Can you give me the city?
Sure. Medford.
Medford. Okay. Roseburg. Okay.
Grants Pass. Yeah.
Yeah. The Southern, they do have an MLS.
Yes.
Yes. So they have a different MLS. So in Eugene, we are part of Portland's, which encompasses the largest MLS. But down there, they have a specific one. So does Corvallis and Albany. They have WVMLS. It is Southern Oregon. Hold on. You tried to Google and you couldn't find it?
No, I belong to Southern Oregon MLS.
Oh.
I don't know who to reach out to ask them, how do I find addresses to put in my database?
Okay, so don't say that.
Okay,
I'll just say,
what should I say?
MLS is kind of funny about that. So, I mean, technically we're not supposed to spam people, but that's kind of what we're doing. So what I would say is, hey, I have a client and I need to look up their address. Where can I go? Like county record, so basically that was our MLS pulls from county records. So that's how we have that. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if the smaller ones do that.
Well, ask.
Just ask. And two, there are, ask your team leader, ask a veteran agent. I mean, they know. Okay, they know how to get these things. You're part of a KW office. All you have to do is ask.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
I do. I have a question that I missed because I had to take a phone call from my A client. So what's a B?
Okay, B are, I'm pretty sure they're going to do business with me. So the rest of my past clients that haven't done repeat business or referred somebody, my friends, my family. Yeah, those people.
Thank you.
Yep.
I was gonna ask, so say you get their name, right? You got their name. How do you send them, so you go and get their address, like just how do you go about getting all that other pertinent information that you need to build that, to nurture them?
You're gonna have to ask.
Right. So what's typically, how do you go about it? How do you ask?
So what are you wanting? You want their email address or phone number?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, okay. I don't really care. If they're on social media, to me, that is just as good as a phone number or an email address. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Okay.
And by the way, you guys, and it's something that I'm gonna be working on the last half of the year. I've never done it. Now I have almost 5,000 friends on Facebook. I'm going to categorize them, find my past clients and categorize my past clients and my sphere in those two main groups. I have a lot of agents from out of the area. I do a lot of relocation, but sometimes I'm like, sometimes I just want to send my past clients maybe a little message, that I don't know, I'm just going to do that. But again, like, when I have somebody that knows me on Facebook, I'll send them a Facebook message. Hey, I send out a free goodie each month, and I really wanted to include you. Can you please send me your address, email, and phone number? And if they don't give it to you, then they don't give it to you.
Right. Okay.
At the end of the day, you guys, on to the next. We're not going to focus too much on one person. This is a business. Okay. There's not just one client. We've got a multitude of people that we need to service and, stay in contact with.
Thank you.
And there are some times where, maybe they don't even use Messenger, so they don't respond back. I mean, keep a little list. I mean, sometimes I keep a little list and I'll be like, oh, wait, I've asked a friend, oh, wait, do you have so-and-so's address? Sure. Okay. I mean, you guys, let's remember, we're not spamming. Okay. Give things of value. All right. So the 2 mailers that they get every month is something free that they don't have to pay for. It's a coupon, for God's sakes, for something free. Not even a coupon for something off. It's free. That's not spamming. And my referral postcard is thanking them. Thank you for your referrals. And on the back side, I am offering them a free CMA. Okay. The other thing is too, as you're calling people. So first of all, you guys, once you get these people in your database, you're going to call all of them, if you haven't already, and tell them that you have your real estate license. And I'm going to be keeping you updated on the real estate market. Can I get your information? All right. Easy peasy. You're letting them know. Then you're going to send out a mailer. You're not going to handwrite, you can't, the first letter. Okay, let's go back. I would handwrite this letter, not handwrite the letter, but handwrite the envelope. Okay. Introducing yourself, putting a business card in the envelope. Hello, I just wanted you to know about a career change. I just became a real estate broker with Keller Williams, and I'm building my business here in Lane County. Let's remember, you guys, we're also small business owners. Okay. We are small business owners. And also, nobody cares who you work for. Nobody cares who you work for. They care about you. If you look at all my advertising, KW is very, very small, only to be legal on my stuff. Okay. My business name registered with the state of Oregon is the Charity Crosby Real Estate Team. Okay. So I own a business and I'm a small business owner. I got to treat it like a business. It's just like if I owned a Subway shop. Okay. Or whatever. I mean, we need customers. Doesn't matter what the business is, you guys, we need customers. So sometimes we just need to think outside the box. Any other questions? Or anything that I didn't cover that you were hoping would be covered in this segment called the database? Okay. Well, I put my email in the chat box. Feel free if you have any questions. Again, KW is a sharing company. I mean, that's one of the reasons as a new agent, you're in a good place. You got a lot of veteran agents. I like to call us veteran, not old. A lot of us. Okay. A lot of us started together at Remax. A lot of us know all this stuff. So feel free to reach out to me, call me if you have any questions, if you're struggling with something, you know, there's a plenitude of people. I also hope that you guys are going into your offices, okay? You are not going to learn sitting at home. You are not. I don't care if you have nothing to do other than you sit in your reception area or wherever your meeting place is, the kitchen, and you listen to agents talk. You will learn a lot that way. But you need to go to the office. And I will tell you this. So I did, when I left KW, I went with a virtual brokerage because I thought that's what I wanted. I was bored out of my mind, you guys, and my production dropped. Second, I went back to KW and I'm back in it, you know, going to classes and stuff like that. I mean, I'm going to have my best year ever after 25 years, and it's crazy. So this is very achievable, very achievable. You can do it, you guys. You can do it. All right. We're going to sign off. If you guys need anything, call or email me. And good luck on the rest of your courses.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Talk
Very,
to you
very
later.
helpful.
Bye.